Good Wednesday evening, folks. I'm student meteorologist Dylan Leith here.
And I'm student meteorologist Sammy Squires.
And we hope you folks at home have stayed warm today, waking up to very cold temperatures in the morning, warming up a bit, but not too warm, so still needing the layers all day.
We didn't quite get into the upper 20s, though, as what we would have thought would have happened this morning.
We only got down to 34 this morning, unfortunately not breaking that freezing mark, but hey, what about tomorrow? We might see a change in that.
There's still a chance for getting freezing temperatures here in Tallahassee, but later in the show we are also talking about more freezing temperatures, but not here, more up north.
Yeah, far up in the northern part of the country, they're seeing very cold conditions. In Chicago today, negative 48-degree wind chill this morning. That's insane.
Very, very cold outside. I mean, most people aren't allowed, they're not supposed to go outside. No, if you're outside longer than 5 minutes, there's chances of getting frostbite. It's just crazy cold up north.
Yeah, Sammy will talk about that with Colby. Well, also, Salone and I, who you'll see later on in the show, are going to talk about some heating tips and heating safety down here in Florida, because we're not used to this cold weather, and it's now time you're turning on your heat, and so how do you prepare for stuff like that?
Yeah, exactly. But our temperatures are warming up nice in the 50s, and we even have a preview of a warmer next week.
Yeah, not bad conditions coming in. It's not bad really now. I mean, if you like the cold, this is your little bit of chance, because 2 months from now it'll be blazing hot and we want to go back to these temperatures.
I like both. I mean, I'm fine with both. For now, we're going to take things off over to the overview.
Fortunately for us today in Tallahassee, it was a beautiful day to go outside. To see behind me, the sun's sort of setting right now in Cascades Park, which is a beautiful day to take advantage of that, take your dog on a walk and go for a run. But unfortunately, as we see, we do have this front coming into our view over here. A cold front mostly for us, situated right over Atlanta, is bringing some clouds into our forecast over the next few days. As you see, the clouds right now are coming from the west towards us. We do have a few pop-up showers here for the Big Bend region, but most of the showers are out west there. Going into tonight, we do see these clouds are lingering a bit, but it's still chilly tonight. As we go into tomorrow morning, we see the clouds clear up for the most part. We are going to have that clear and chilly start we normally see here in the winter, but looking at Thursday night, we saw those winds shift, so now the winds are coming from the east, so we're going to have a lot of clouds coming into the picture Friday morning. Still that chilly start though, but clearing up by that happy hour time frame on Friday. Looking at tonight in Tallahassee, 29 degrees as our low. Clouds are lingering, and then into Thursday, cold morning, sunny skies though all day. It's a beautiful day to go outside and maybe head over to Cascades. Looking at the weekend, we do see these rain chances are increasing from Friday into Saturday, but decreasing by Sunday, as well as we see those temperatures increasing as well, with our lows going back into the 40s and 50s. For now, we're going to see these cold temps are continuing, which is the highlight of our show tonight. So for now, I'm going to pass things off to Sammy to take a look at Tallahassee.
All right, thank you so much, Sloan. So it is a beautiful sunset here in Tallahassee right about 6 p.m. You can see that sun starting to make its way past Doak right now. So we are sitting at 48 degrees right now. It is partly cloudy. We did have a few drops of rain on the radar, but we didn't really get any here locally in Tallahassee. We have this cold front that's making its way down, and behind that is a high pressure system, meaning a few colder temperatures. We'll see what happens later in the week though. Looking at the satellite and radar, you could see some of those drops of rain in clouds that have been persisting throughout the day. But looking at right now, look, that's where that rain is actually. But I don't think we didn't get any rain today. It could be a little bit of some ground cover here in Tallahassee. Current conditions, 48 degrees for Tallahassee, 46 in Quincy. Pretty sunny throughout the board other than Tallahassee as of right now. Our wind direction is mainly coming out of the north, just some light winds around 6 miles per hour. In the Big Bend region. The main story here in Tallahassee though is this dew point. That brown color is super, super low dew points. We're looking at 23, 20, 18 over in Bainbridge. These temperatures are very low for the dew points, so it is making it feel very dry outside with those colder temperatures as well. Forecasting on for the next few days, you can see it will be sunny out for Thursday morning, but with that sun, it will be a cold morning here in Tallahassee. On Friday morning, it will be cloudy, but those clouds will start to disappear through the day and make it a sunny 6 p.m. for Friday. Tonight in Tallahassee, 29 degrees. It will be partly cloudy, but very chilly, looking at those freezing temperatures. Warming up to about 58 degrees for tomorrow. Cold morning, bringing sunny skies through tomorrow. For the marine forecast, though, looking at that 58 degrees, it will be kind of choppy throughout the seas tomorrow, 4 to 6 feet. So making a little bit of waves for tomorrow on the beach. But looking at that 7-day forecast, you can see we're just slowly warming up throughout the week. Our big chance of rain next is Saturday. We'll see what happens with that before it finally gets a little bit warmer. Looking at the 70s for the next week to come. Now I'm going to take things over to Dylan with the Southeast.
Thank you very much, Sammy. Well, let's look at the Southeast, and there's only one spot that's really seeing below freezing temperatures right now. That's Nashville. There's a good divide between Nashville, Atlanta, and Charlotte. Charlotte not seeing those freezing temperatures right now, but still very cold throughout much of the Southeast. The only warm spot, the only spot above 60 degrees here on this map, Miami, 70 degrees. Only place. It's very cold throughout much of the Southeast, even though that much of the cold is situated farther north. It's dipping down so far that we're feeling it here in Tallahassee, and even down in South Florida, it's a little chillier than normal. Into our dew points, though, this cold air has brought in a lot of dry air. -5-degree dew point in Nashville, and lots of 20s throughout much of the Southeast. Again, the only moisture down in South Florida and Miami. And these are very dry conditions. Your skin might crack, be a little dry throughout these periods, but seeing very dry conditions throughout much of the Southeast. Into our wind speeds, though, you have mostly out of the north because of the frontal boundary, so it's bringing drier air into our area, so you're not seeing the Gulf moisture or the Atlantic moisture. But then over here, over into Shreveport and Little Rock, you can start to see this circular counterclockwise or clockwise rotation, indicating a low pressure system sitting over there. So you see where the frontal boundary is located over here, just above Dallas in Oklahoma. And you see we have a cold front bringing in a lot of the cloud cover that we've been seeing here locally and throughout much of the Southeast after the clear conditions this morning. And then you see a bit of rain sitting down over into Louisiana area. This poses a threat for some flood warnings over there. We've been seeing a lot of rain in the last couple of days and the last couple of weeks as well because of these frontal systems that dump a lot of rain. Last week we saw one that just sat, it was a big mass of rain that has really dropped a lot of rain. And these aren't helping lake levels and flood levels throughout much of the Southeast. That's why we have that flood warning in effect still today. And then over on the eastern part into South Georgia, North Florida, we start to see these freeze warnings. So this is the first freeze of the year for those folks over there. So it is very cold. We're dropping below the freezing mark again in these counties over on the the northeast part into Jacksonville as well. So very cold conditions still after the front has made its way through. Then as we go into the next couple of days, you start to see cloud cover subside just a tiny bit, not too much though. And then we start to see a bit of moisture surge back up from the Gulf and the Atlantic into South Florida and into parts of North Florida. And then a bit of moisture over on the western part as well, bringing a little bit of rain to southern Texas, southern and eastern Texas. So that's going to converge and bring a little more rain. And then we start to see the formations of our next frontal system that's going to bring rain here in Tallahassee. But high pressure in between these two bits of moisture, keeping skies just a bit clear. And then going on forward, you start to see the front move into Friday afternoon and evening. Tonight, though, a little cooler than yesterday as the cold air sets in, dropping to 30 degrees here in Tallahassee, 26 on Montgomery. But then let's breathe a sigh of relief because it's a little warmer tomorrow as we get back into the 60s into parts of Jackson, New Orleans, and then into 59 degrees here in Tallahassee. Over farther north, it's not going to be below freezing in Nashville as the high tomorrow, so better conditions throughout. And then South Florida, warming just back to normal, seeing rain sticking around throughout much of the night. Right now, I'm going to send it over to the desk with Colby and Sammy, who's going to talk about all this cold air we've been seeing in the northern part of the country.
Yeah, thank you, Dylan. So we are talking about this giant cold mass in the northeast right now. Plunging temperatures, gusty winds. It is very cold.
Yeah, so cold. There was a couple colors I saw on the NOAA website there, warnings, and it was a snow squall warning actually for northern Vermont. And I'll get into more detail in the national about that, but we have those bands of precipitation that the snow sets up, and then we have a lot of snow falling quickly and very localized, right? A little different from a blizzard warning, correct?
Yeah, so it's moving along the front, bringing those cold temperatures behind it. So that's why the Midwest has all those cold temperatures. I know Wisconsin hit -22 today, with the wind chill going from -30 to -40. You can't even go outside in that weather.
I don't even think about that. Here in Florida, I know we were 30 this morning, and it was for us it was cold, but nothing like what they're seeing up in the Northeast. So.
I mean, it's happening. It's real. It's just very cold outside.
And another interesting warning I saw, and I'll talk again more about that on the national, was a freezing spray warning, and that's when we have actually strong winds on it. It was Lake Michigan and Lake Superior there.
Yeah.
And then it's actually the winds are pushing the waves on shore, and then everything that's spraying onto it's freezing on contact. So
yes.
not a good situation
and
there.
I mean, on the lakes too, the waves can be up to 15 feet.
Wow.
Now those are big waves for even a lake, you know.
Yeah, so definitely not good to be on the lakes, and you don't even want to be outside because some of those wind chill values were just very
incredible,
very cold. -50, -60. So.
But fortunately, there are shelters that have been set up in case your power goes out, in case you don't have a safe place. So take advantage of that if you are in the north. But for now, we're going to take things back to the wall.
Thanks, guys. Again, another beautiful sunset picture behind me here over Doak this time. It's a beautiful sight to see. As you know, yesterday we had that awful rainstorm that I got stuck in walking to, actually to the Love Building. But right now, 48 degrees, about 2 degrees cooler than our high today, which is 50 degrees. Clouds are still coming into the picture and expect them to stay overnight as well. We do see the clouds moving to our region. Light clouds though, clearing up a bit, a few scatter showers right there, but nothing too intense for us. So it's been a beautiful day overall. Current conditions to the rest of the Big Bend region, we do see we're sticking in the 40s for everywhere, mostly the mid-40s. See Thomasville a bit cooler there at 43, but clear skies in Georgia and out east where the clouds haven't exactly reached yet, but Apalachicola is still sunny, still beautiful outside. Dew points though, we've had our lowest dew point since March day, about 17 degrees there, but 23 in Tallahassee right now, and most of the region is sticking to the low 20s and high teens, so very dry. But we see these winds coming from the north, driving those clouds into the Gulf right now and coming into our region later in the week as well. Tonight, clouds still there, lingering into the early morning, but clearing up for that chill start tomorrow. So have that jacket on hand. It's staying colder outside, so I would always have that jacket or sweatshirt with you, but they're coming back into the picture, and we see that wind shift occurring Thursday night, very cloudy Friday morning, so that's a very important thing about in the morning as the showers sort of come into the picture there, but clearing up by the early evening on Friday as well, so that'll be a perfect time to go outside, go for a walk, maybe go to College Town as the conditions become more favorable here. For tonight in Tallahassee, 29 degrees. It's a beautiful temperature for me personally because I'm from the north, but clouds still lingering and light winds at about 5 miles per hour, and 58 degrees tomorrow. So we're warming up from where we are today, about 10 degrees warmer than what we are at right now, with those winds light again 5 to 10 miles per hour as well. Thursday, waking up very chilly, 33 degrees, but we're immediately getting into the 50s at noon. Sun, we can see, is sticking around all day tomorrow. We're going to reach about 57 degrees by 4 p.m. Our high tomorrow is pretty close to 60, so we'll see if we near that at all. And then becoming chilly again by 8 p.m. Choppy, though, at the shore. 58 degrees there as well tomorrow. The sun is in the picture. But again, if you're going to go out on that boat, maybe take some seasickness medication, because I know I get really seasick out there. Over the next 7 days, we see the rain is coming to the picture on Saturday as these temperatures increase as well and as that front moves into our region. But temperatures are back into the 70s next week, causing favorable weather for us. But now I'm going to pass things to Colby to look at the nation.
Hey, thanks, Sloan. And there's a lot of places on this map that would love to have 60-degree weather, even 70-degree weather that we're talking about into next week. Because look at these current temperatures. Minneapolis, -14, sitting just above the century mark there in Kansas City at 3 degrees. You can see really these magenta colors. That's below zero there for those temperatures. And the expanse of this air mass is really shown here, -15 there in Chicago, 19 there in Washington, D.C. Bringing in a lot of drier air from the north. This is a very Arctic continental air mass, so very dry and very cold conditions there. Very dry. Our Minneapolis at -26-degree dew point. You can really start to see these winds come out of the northwest, surging into the northern tier of the country and even into the northeast. Very high winds though, 15 there in Detroit, 11 in Chicago, and that's not good when you start mixing that very cold temperatures to begin with that wind. We get those really low wind chill values that we've seen for the last couple of days. Some high clouds from Nebraska, Kansas, stretching back into Wyoming, and then all the activity eastern seaboard. We have some showers though into northern Louisiana, but nothing too much to worry about there. Some snow lingering there into St. Louis as well, and then a lot of snow up into the northeast. Area of high pressure splitting the country. We have one here out into the east and then one out west. So really that frontal boundary kind of splitting the nation right now. Going into the northeast, New York, we do have some snow setting up along Lake Erie and Lake Ontario there, New York, and then into Pennsylvania as well. So we're starting to see some of those snow bands that line up. That's lake effect snow, so really having some really high snow amounts there. And a lot of warnings and watches to talk about in the northeast. These are wind chill advisory. Now the wind chill advisory over a very large area of the northeast and then back into the north central sections of the country, Wisconsin, the entire state there, entire state of Minnesota as well. So very low wind chill values there, very dangerous. You can get the frostbite in a matter of minutes in those locations. Blizzard warnings there in the red that I was talking about, those lake effect snow setting up there, but it's really about those winds with that low pressure system that's really contributing to that. It's not really about how much snow is falling, but it's how it's falling. Visibility problems there across the northeast. Looking at the big picture, again, there's those areas of high pressure looking good there. Next system will be out west. I'll talk about that in just a second. Can't forget about the couple showers from Jackson back toward Baton Rouge there across that central Louisiana. That's kind of filtering in throughout that area. Not a good situation for the flood warning there along the Mississippi River. So not really good situation to have any more water added to those totals. Freeze warning for portions of southeastern Georgia and also northeastern Florida. So definitely bring in those plants and watch those pets in those areas. Going out west, though, we do have, see the blue there, around Lake Tahoe over to Reno. We got the winter storm watch there as we watch that next system that's actually off into the Pacific, but it'll be heading onshore shortly. It's going to actually help this drought. We see a lot of moderate to almost some severe even starting to creep in portions of Oregon. So hopefully that'll start to alleviate some of that for the Sierra Nevada region there. Always a good sign there. For tonight, though, gripping cold. I don't even know how to put this, just extreme cold across the northern tier, down to -29. That's the actual temperature there in Minneapolis, 3 degrees there in KC. So not good with those temperatures, very cold conditions. 0 there in Chicagoland. That's going to be your high for tomorrow. Not getting out of the negatives, though, in the Twin Cities. Very gripping cold there across the entire northern tier of the country. I think we're going to deal with one more day. But something really important people need to talk about this time of year, and it's going to be the heating safety, especially when we get those cold temperatures. You're going to talk more about that. Sloan and Dylan, there at the desk.
Yep, I might be from the Northeast, but a lot of things Floridians don't understand is the concept of how to heat your house, especially in the winter with temperatures tonight getting below freezing.
Yeah, I'm from South Florida, and I honestly have never experienced something this cold. It's not what I'm used to. So folks, college students too, who come up from South Florida, don't really know how to experience and deal with the heating situation at this time of year.
If you live on campus or in an apartment complex off campus, there's a few major concerns you could have. I know Dylan doesn't have any heating right now, so keeping that portable heater on handy, but making sure you turn it off whenever you leave your room or you leave your apartment, because you never know if it's actually going to burn something down.
Right, you're not there monitoring it at all times, and also you want to keep objects that can be burnt or caught on fire 3 feet away from the heating appliance that you have, just in case that something happens. You want to keep it a decent distance away. And you also want to make sure too that you don't plug more than one appliance into one outlet, because you cause the risk, because these instruments really pull a lot of electricity to run and generate this heat. So if you have a lot of electricity coming from one outlet, it's not a good thing.
Also, if you might live in a house and have a generator attached to it, don't keep that generator indoors, because it still produces carbon monoxide, and that can be a very deadly gas to you and your family or your friends who live with you. And also, don't go in your car in your parked garage with the garage door shut and think it's going to warm you up, because carbon monoxide can go through the vents that way as well.
Yeah, well, you want to make sure your carbon monoxide detector is up to date and is working. You want to test that as well at this time of year.
And then be sure to check the appliances when you smell gas and to report it immediately if you do.
Yeah, but right now we're going to send it over to the wall with Sammy.
Thank you guys for those important tips. Now, here locally in Florida, you can see we do have some cloud coverage making its way through, especially in the central part of Florida. Now, the upper level water vapor is showing, though, that this whole half of Florida is very dry, while the southern tip of Florida is actually a little bit more moist. Now, not very moist, we're just talking those dew points are actually higher. As far as temperature, though, temperature in Tallahassee is 48 degrees, and as you go further south as far as Tampa, you can see 56 degrees and cloudy, while Miami is a nice 70 degrees right now. I wish we had those temperatures, but hey, we'll have them pretty soon. Looking at these dew points, you can see those are in the 20s. That brown color slowly turns into a tan with Tampa 33 before it drops into the 50s, where that's more of a comfortable feel for the southern half of Florida with the temperatures in the 60s. Now, the wind speed and direction is mainly coming from the north in the top half of Florida, while Orlando, they're getting more of a wind right now with 14 miles per hour coming from the northeast. Now, we are looking at not much on the radar right now, while tomorrow's forecast in southern Florida, Naples 73 degrees, pretty much all around 70s on the coast of southern Florida, partly cloudy outside and 72 for most areas. Looking at the central half of Florida, you can see that's where all of that cloud coverage is making its way through, while those temperatures tomorrow are going to be reaching about 68 for Vero Beach, 69 over in Pierce, while Daytona's a little bit colder with 62 degrees. Now, around Gainesville area, they're at 61 degrees, while the coast is a little bit chillier. Jacksonville, 57 degrees. Very sunny outside. It will be a beautiful day over in Jacksonville. Looking near Panama City, at 60 degrees for tomorrow. Destin at 59 degrees, and even Mobile at 60 degrees for tomorrow. The forecast throughout Florida, though, we can see it is going to start getting cloudier, even a chance of rain in southern Florida for tomorrow, and starting to persist some rain even. But for tonight's forecast, we can see Tallahassee 30 degrees, very chilly outside, while Orlando is 45 and even getting up into the 50s with some rain for southern Florida. But for tomorrow's forecast, we can see these temperatures are going to be in the 50s for northern half of Florida and dropping into the 70s for southern half. Dylan, take a look at the last local.
Trust me, if I was a South Floridian, I'd be freaking out right now because you're not used to these temperatures throughout the year. And even up here out north, seeing temperatures 15 degrees below average at this time of year, I'm a little freaked out too. Trust me, I woke up, wore 3 layers today. It is cold outside. I'm not too thrilled about it, but it's not too bad. It's better than the heat. And our low too, about 13 degrees lower than average, so it's a little cooler than average, not drastically, but still enough difference to make it feel like it's a big difference outside. 48 degrees right now. Clouds are still sticking around. Cooling down just a bit as we get into the nighttime hours, and then as our winds, only a slight 7-mile-per-hour wind, making it feel a degree or two cooler than it does actually feel outside in terms of temperature. Looking at our satellite and radar, you do see this area of clouds just draped through. That's due to this frontal system that was situated farther north into parts of Mississippi and Alabama, the northern parts of the area, and that's been draping around clouds a lot and a bit of moisture on the upper levels. But over in our area, you see a bit of clutter. That's these little green spots that pop up early in the loop, but then clouds just sticking around throughout much of the day. No rain really on the radar. And then going into our winds, you see they're dominantly out of the north, bringing in the drier air that we've been seeing from this cold air blast down far south. So we're seeing dry conditions sticking around, and our dew points are feeling very dry outside. and into the next couple of days, you see clouds sticking around through much of tonight, but as we wake up into tomorrow, clouds start to disappear, and we see little sunny conditions, nice, a little warmer today as the sun can heat us up just a bit with the cool air. Not a big wind threat tomorrow too, so not feeling very, very cold. And then as we go back into Thursday evening and Friday morning, you start to see these clouds and a bit more moisture come back into our area. Chance of showers pop into our area as we get into Friday morning. And then throughout Friday, the afternoon clears out just a little bit, and then into the weekend, seeing a little bit more rain possible. Tonight, though, finally going to crack the 32-degree mark? Well, we'll see tonight. 29 degree is our forecasted temperature, so we hope we go below the freezing mark. Maybe you want to have your dripping water just a bit if you're scared of your pipes, but don't drip it too much because you don't want to drive up your water bill. Into tomorrow's forecast, though, sunny conditions, hey, just a bit warmer, 58 degrees. Might have to take off a layer of 2 if you're waking up and dressing for very cold temperatures in the morning and warm temperatures in the afternoon. And if you want to plan out your day, well, at 8 a.m., it's going to be 33 degrees. Want to have a couple layers on. And then by noon, you're going to want to start peeling off a layer or 2. And then by the afternoon, keeping it around. But then by 8 p.m., you're going to want to put that layer back on if you're going to stay outside for just a bit. And as we go into our marine forecast, you don't want to get in the water, but it's a nice day on the boat. Sunny skies, 58 degrees. Not a little choppy, though, on the waters. And then for your 7-day forecast, cool temperatures sticking around tomorrow. A bit of a warm-up with the cloud cover on Friday. Rain chances coming back into our area on Saturday, and then clearing out and leaving for a warmer week, not seeing those freezing temperatures into Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Right now, I'm going to send it to the desk for the closing desk.
Thanks, Dylan. As Dylan just showed, we do have like another day of like really cold air in our region before we start to heat back up into the 60s, and by next week in the 70s.
Yeah, it's also mid-70s creeping into the forecast. Always right in time, though, for the work week, right? Monday, Tuesday, come on now. So, you know,
yeah.
I like the trade-off, though. I like the little bit of warmer temperatures, maybe a little bit of rain, though, for the weekend. Small chances, right?
But with that temperatures, though, like constantly changing from cold to hot, this is the time where everybody starts to get sick too, because midterms are coming up as well. So this is like the perfect time to be sick around Tallahassee. So make sure you're washing your hands, taking your vitamin C these next few days, and making sure you don't wear short sleeve or shorts outside. I saw a lot of guys today in shorts walking through campus, and I was like, it is 30 degrees.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with layering up, and then you know you can take those layers off as you go into the day with those warmer temperatures. But definitely want to stay bundled up. Look at that. I know in the morning they were saying, what, 27?
Yeah.
So could get
Yep, 29 degrees tonight too. So if you're going to take that dog out on a walk, you're going to keep that jacket on hand as well. But we see these rain chances coming back into the picture Friday and Saturday. I know on the radar we saw a few pop-ups here or there for Friday, but Saturday seems like the day.
Yeah, Saturday looking like the day, but we'll get the warmer temperatures again. I was talking about that trade-off, and then hey, get in a couple runs and some activities outside as we go into the next week. I can see some suns there in mid-70s, so definitely a welcome sight. And I bet they definitely wish they could have that up into the northern portions of the country.
Oh, definitely. So. My mom saw some snow today falling a bit in New Jersey, so she was like, I'm so jealous. I'm like, it's cold here too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Florida, our definition of cold's a little bit different. We get near that freezing mark and it's real cold. But hey, follow us on social media there on Twitter. Send in those pictures. We love to have them there. And
like us on Facebook. You can watch any of our social media updates or any graphics we post on there as well.
And if you're watching us, maybe you're watching us live right now on YouTube, and it's going to be /FSU Weather Live.
And be sure to follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather. We love to see your pictures, especially with those sunsets we saw today and all the pictures I had behind me of Doak and Cascades. But for everyone here at FSU Weather, I'm student meteorologist Sloan Haynes.
I'm student meteorologist Colby Pope. Have a great evening.